transcending the racist snare and traps, knowing your Tiatanic program. Okay, so every race have their own program. Okay, the program for the European race is not the same as the program for the Chinese race. And it's not the same as the program for the Africans. The Africans are the oldest blood on earth. They are the first that are going to leave this earth. Okay? They're the first to reach their prime. Many, many other forms of life have come through this realm and moved on, disappeared and moved on to the next existence. All right? The melanated aspect of your blood is also a projector, like a movie projector, and it projects physical reality. So that's what it means when they say Atlas is carrying the world on his shoulders. It means that this physical reality, what you call Earth, is mainly projected by the blood of Africans. There's degrees to the projection. Some blood groups or some gene pools carry more of the projection than others. This is the meaning of the plagues. When the core blood group, or what you call the plasma motherboard, when that blood begins to age, the physical world will begin to age along with it. Because as above, so below. So the destruction that you see on earth, the lack of fruits, seeds for fruits, the war, the disease, the poisoning, all this shit is a reflection of the aging of the African gene pool. The more that gene pool ages, the more the physical world becomes unlivable. That's the occult perspective. A lot of people ask questions, why is all this shit happening? I'm just trying to tell you. That's why it's happening. Everything you see is a projection, is a virtual reality, and there's a reason why it is the way it is. These people that you call colonialists, that put you through slavery and subjugate you. Don't think they don't know what they're doing. Don't think they're just acting wickedly. They have enough morality to keep their cities clean and planned. They're not savages. The society that we're talking about is ran by magicians, high-level magicians. They know exactly who you are. They know what they're doing. You just don't know yourself. You don't know what you're doing. So you don't know your program. So they are programmed to bring you pain. The same way the lion is programmed to bring the zebra pain. Is written in the code that that's going to happen. It's just like whenever you see a group of lions eating an antelope, you start crying. That's nature. It's their natural disposition to do to you what they're doing to you. You'll never get their mercy, no matter how much you complain. You should ask yourself why you're in the state that you are in, and why they run everything, even though they're much less populated than you. Who gave them that power? Why is what you should ask, instead of complaining. That'll give you a good perspective. So, most of the wickedness is not even here yet. A lot of you think that the worst is slavery. However, go to Revelations and read that very well, because I always quote these Abrahamic scriptures because they came before Christianity. Most of those books came from ancient African schools, and the ability to time travel. So there's a second. They said there was that the people they brought so much pain and death on the people. Then after a while, things got a little better. Then the second time came around. Now in this second time, I'm paraphrasing. You could go read Revelation. In this second experience, right, there's something that they mentioned that should interest you. It said, when things got so bad on the earth, some of them tried to kill themselves, but death would not come. This is the part that you should be concerned about, because this is why they're creating diseases and trying to put these little chips in people. Because once somebody controls your consciousness, they could regulate your death. You could shoot yourself in the head and wake up in the same reality, with the same body, in the same circumstance. The reason people find this hard to believe is because your education only taught you about physical things. Your education never taught you about things that's not physical. So when we start discussing higher level spiritual shit, it becomes difficult to understand it. But they put these things in their movies like Altered Carbon, where they could take your consciousness, freeze it for 300 years, and put it back in another body. So what are you? Are you the body, or are you your consciousness? What is your consciousness? Your consciousness is a totality of all your memories. If you was to lose all your memory right now, you'd be a vegetable. You wouldn't be who you are anymore. All the shit that you can remember is who you are. Your memory is who you are. If I could save all your memory in a hard drive and I put it in a robot, right? And I kill that person, you will wake up in a robot. You will wake up in a robot. Your body will be a robot's body, but the mind will still be yours. So souls can be trapped. That's what that part in the New Testament was trying to say. Don't be afraid of somebody that could kill the body, because death is an escape from a virtual world. However, people can take that escape from you, where you can't even die no more. That shit is in Revelations. It said they try to kill themselves, but death would not come. And a lot of Christians, people read that stuff and they don't even know it's talking about virtual realities. and trapping souls in virtual worlds. That's where we are today. That's why you have CERN, CERN. That's why you have Donald Trump versus the deep state. And they fighting him with disease and they're about to plunge him in a war. All that shit is calculated. You know? So, as Africans, the racist rhetoric is the easiest trap you can avoid. You have to ask yourself, why are the people that your so-called slavers, the people that you feel sold you into slavery, why are they producing slave movies? Quentin Tarantino, the guys that did Roots, all 12 Years a Slave, these are not made by black people. Why are they constantly putting the slave narrative in front of you? Why do they want you to constantly think about that shit? There has to be a good reason. It's not just for entertainment. All right? The main reason is to keep you here long enough that they could trap you in the type of world that they want. You know, that way you can't leave. You know, even as a gene pool, you can't leave because your gene pool is the engine. That's what powers this reality. So they need you everywhere they go. They need you. That's their real wickedness. You think is the physical wickedness. That's not the part you need to be worried about. These guys are way more advanced than you can imagine. As a matter of fact, whenever they do something, they're already 10 steps in front. Before they give you something, they're already 10 steps in front of what they give you. All right? So don't buy into all this racist shit you see on TV, George Floyd, and all these slave movies. Always bemoaning slavery every time you're talking about that shit. You have to start thinking as a being that's not human anymore. You are not, African gene pool is not human anymore. When you look at an old man that's 105 years old, that's not a human anymore. Half of that mind, that person's mind is already in the other world. A lot of times when you're that old, when you get to the point where you're about to die, you start seeing glimpses of the other world while you're still in this world. You'll be living in two worlds at the same time when you get closer to your death. That's where Africans are today. If you study Africans the world over, we are at a senile state where we're like an old man that's shitting on himself, that needs diapers. We're not even part of this world anymore. We don't belong to any organization, the United Nations, all that shit. They just put us there as fillers. We don't make no decisions. We don't own Africa. None of the African countries own their countries. We don't own anything. Even the resources in the so-called Africa that we think we own, we don't own those resources. The world is already showing us that we're not even part of this world anymore. The nature of this world is telling us in so many ways that we are not human anymore. We're just clutching onto the past. So it's gonna be few, because in any evolution, like for example, when it gets to the point where certain fish grow feet and evolve to amphibians, right? It doesn't just happen out of mistake. And not all the fish from that species end up being amphibians. Only part of the fishes grow those legs. Some other fishes remain as they are. So it has to do with a feeling. Those fishes that grow feet and eventually walk out the ocean and walk onto land, they've desired it. They started to hate their environment because they were getting ate all the time by other bigger fish. They wished to be away from it. They wanted to leave it. That desire sent out a beacon, a signal into the cosmos, so that when the right code came into the cosmos, it searched for them and it rewrote their DNA and gave them feet. This is what you call the procession of souls, or what scientists call evolution. It happens in all species. Everything comes and goes, even races. There's no race on this earth that's lived on this earth forever. There have been races that lived before the African and moved on. Some of them that didn't move on got recycled back. So even today, as I put forth this message, because nobody else has this message, as it trickles out into the world, it's going to be few people that will have that desire to leave the world. Most will want to go back to building pyramids, avenging slaves. That's why they give you slave movies, so that you can want to revenge and remain here to see that revenge take place. It's just another way of trapping you down here still. But the intelligent ones amongst you will already notice that you're not part of the earth anymore. You don't own nothing anymore. You're not part of the League of Nations anymore. You don't make nothing. When you strip it down, your population is behaving at its most absurd compared to other people. Just go into any black neighborhood. Not just here in the Western world, in Africa too. We're an old race. We've reached the oldest. If other races are 25-year-old, we're 130 in terms of race age. What we're suffering from is gene pool aging. Our blood has aged. So you can't turn it back. You can't compete with these younger races. You only have one destiny, and that's your destiny, and that's to leave the earth. Okay? And you have to do it before you're trapped, because you're an engine also. And any other beings that are going to live down here need you down here with them, or whatever virtual world they're going to create. They need you to power it. Some of these concepts and ideas are so transcendental and so advanced that I know that I'm only speaking to a handful of people. It doesn't matter if there's 1 million people listening to me right now. Only a handful of people are going to understand that concept. But don't waste your time worrying about slavery. Don't waste your time worrying about being subjugated. It will not change. As a matter of fact, they're going to use it as a trap to bait your emotions, to herd you around like cattle. When they want to move you to a certain direction, they'll create a scenario where one of their kind does something to one of your kind, and that'll rouse all of you up and they'll move you to a certain direction. That's what's going on now with the George Floyd thing. That's how you know a lot of these people that's woke is actually asleep. Because if you can't see something that obvious and simple, then you were never woke. You were never woke. You're worrying about the wrong things. It shows that you're not intelligent. All right? You have to start thinking like you're not a human being anymore, because the earth has spit you out already. You just don't know it yet. You're not of the earth anymore. There's a whole new world and being waiting for you. You're like a caterpillar that don't want to be a butterfly. So now your caterpillar cocoon is all fucked. You know what I mean? Your caterpillar cocoon is all fucked up, and you're supposed to be a butterfly, but you still managing to stay in the fucked up caterpillar cocoon because you're just so scared of being a butterfly. That's how the African race is now. They got you, even all this Egyptology and Hotep shit, they're the ones putting it in front of you. Whatever they can do to make you yearn to remain here in this physical realm, they'll do it. They released all that information about Egypt and everything. They released it to you. You have no records. Everything you think you know now, they released that shit to you. You just have to be intelligent enough to read in between the lines. All right? So you have to know your titanic programs, your titans, your uncreated spirits. You can't die, but you can be trapped forever. Remember, Prometheus was trapped in Tartarus, where eagle ate his liver, and the liver grew back. You know why the liver kept growing back? Because Prometheus is a titan. Prometheus can't die. So the torture is based on his own nature, that he can't die. So his liver got to grow back, and the eagle got to eat it. And the liver grows till finally Heru came and saves him, what you call Heracles. So what is Heracles or Heru? Is the man with the hawk's head. What does that mean? When you see a bird, you're talking about mental or consciousness. Whenever you see a feather or a bird, they're talking about something that's not physical or consciousness. So a certain consciousness or certain knowledge is going to come and save you titans from this world and make you see it for what it really is. That's what you're listening to now is the Heru. Don't wait for no alien spaceships. Nothing is going to come save you from the sky. There's no mothership that's going to come save you. The only way out is in. You can't fly out of a virtual reality. The further you know why? Because it's emanating from you. The further you fly, the farther it gets, because you're the one emanating it. It's like plugging yourself in a Jumanji game, then building a spaceship in the Jumanji game and talking about you're going to fly out of it. No. All you have to do is unplug. You could fly forever. You're never going to leave that game. I don't give a fuck how far you fly or whatever appears in that game. So Africans need to use their common sense and understand their own destiny, which is apart from everybody else on earth. That's why you're different from everybody else on earth. All right? So that's that. So that's the 3 topics, the LBRP and Igbo. Stay in the course, prosperity, to share good ideas with the like-minded. IT is big now. Any of you that really are interested, get with me later. I'll point you in a good direction where you might be able to build a new career. I will share whatever I feel I know too. Transcending the racist snare and traps.